Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla.
All right. Good evening, everybody. This is Faith, and you're watching The Faith Factor. All right. So there's a lot going on, y'all. A lot going on. So now we see that the Transformers more than meets the eye. They're at it again, y'all. The Transformers are at it again. Now let me stop. I better stop calling them Transformers and all that other stuff, because you know how sensitive people be getting. You know, you can't tell a little jokey joke. Everybody a little sensitive. You know, people getting canceled. Okay. They talking about canceling Miss Jess Hilarious for her viewpoints on the whole trans situation. And I have a lot to say about that. I actually pointed this out months ago. I've been banging on this. But see, some of y'all tardy to the party. I've been saying this. But you know what? Better late than never. I'm glad to see that sisters are finally waking up. Finally. I've been saying this. I did the whole stream about how they're infiltrating real women's spaces all the time. And I pointed out, yeah, they're in our restrooms. They're talking about beating our ass, unaliving us. Yeah, I've been banging on this. I've been seeing it. I've been seeing the writing on the wall with this thing. And I kept trying to tell y'all. When we accept the trans community into the feminist movement, I've been told y'all, I said, hey, our acceptance of them is going to be the erasure of our issues being put to the forefront. And I warned you. But see, we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. But it's not just Black women. It's not. White women, I will have to give them their props. They began to wake up first, especially when they started seeing a lot of these tranny men infiltrating their spaces in their games, their sports. Oh yeah, they were pissed off about that. Now you're sitting up here, you're infiltrated into our sports, our beauty pageants. Now you're in our locker rooms. Yeah, white women were the first to see the losses. They were the first. So now we have trans men on here saying that they can get periods too. They're outright saying this. Black ones, non-Black ones. Oh yeah, bitches, we can get periods too. We trans men bleed just like cis women. And I can't stand. Oh Lord. I can't tell you how much I cannot stand that term, cis. Don't call me cis. I'm a woman, period. But I told some of you that this was coming a long time ago, months ago. I came out with my content warning you. And who was it that I was getting on? I was getting on the women, because see, I don't expect men to care about our issues the way that we do. And this is not a hit at the men or anything like that. It's just that these are our issues. Now, one thing I will say, I noticed that trans men, women who want to transition to be men, You don't see them trying to bully their way into real men's spaces. You don't see them trying to mislabel real men. First of all, they're not going to bully their way into real men's spaces because they can't physically do so. They're not going to threaten real men because they can't physically follow up on any threats. And they're not going to try to invade real men's spaces by trying to infiltrate into their sports teams because, let's just be honest, they're not as athletic, they're not as fast, they're not as strong, they're not as powerful as men. So there's no benefit. On the flip side, you had a lot of these trans men wanting to live as women, trying to live as real women. It's beneficial for them. I don't know how many countless men who have pretty much flopped trying to make it into the male dominated sports teams. All of a sudden now they put on a little lipstick, throw on some high heels and a thong, and they talk like this. And next thing you know, they're infiltrating themselves into real women's spaces and they are taking advantage of real women's sports contracts. Very, very interesting. Things that make you go, And they're doing so by bullying their way in. Like I said, you don't see women trying to live as men, the trans men. You don't see them trying to bully their way like that into real men's spaces. But you do see the bullying and the elbowing of these transformers. They're bullying real women because they can. They have the physical strength to do so. So you'll see videos of them coming online talking about unaliving you, or as one trans man I heard say, "Oh, we're gonna get into a blood battle," is what he said to Miss Jess Hilarious. Oh, you don't want to get into these blood battles. That sounds like a threat to me, y'all. That's a threat. But we still have some of us that want to be part of the all-inclusive team. We're going to support everybody, motherfuckers. Oh, no, Faith. We can't be homophobic. Let me tell you something right now. Not going along with the bullshit, not going along with the delusions, not going along with the lies, and not going against goddamn biology and science does not make you transphobic. It makes you a person that got some goddamn sense. Because I'm drawing the line here. Now, I'm a person, I'm a live and let live type woman. I think that everybody deserves to have basic human rights and to be treated with basic human dignity. It's the very same thing that we as Black people have been asking for a long time. We are not 3/5 of a human being. We are a whole human being, and we deserve to be treated with some respect and dignity. And I believe that of everybody, regardless to what their gender orientation is. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to come in here and completely erase womanhood. You're not going to come in here and you're not going to tell me as a woman how I'm supposed to feel as a woman and what I can and cannot define as a woman. That's what you're not going to do. Now, I do believe that trans women are a part of the feminist movement, but they're a very, very different part. Their issues and the things that they go through as the women that they are different than the issues that I go through as a true woman, as a real woman. Our issues are like night and day. And so, therefore, by completely embracing them as women and giving up our title as women and integrating them with their very different issues into what it is that we're trying to achieve as women, that is a huge mistake, because these are still XY people. And trans women, they have a trans woman view of life, but they do not have a woman's view of life. They have a trans woman experience, not a woman's experience. And we're going to have to start, like I said before, we're going to have to start drawing these lines in the sand. I will say it again. Acceptance of trans women into feminism is going to be the erasure of real women issues being put to the forefront. Let me say good morning to UT Living Life. Good morning, Joe W. What's up, Juju? My baby Juju down there. She says, I don't hang out with them nor associate with them. I don't disrespect them, but you're not about to think you're the same as me. Yes, you goddamn right. They're not the same as you, sis. They're not. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand what the trans woman's issues are. I don't know anything about what it is to be a man transitioning as a woman, and all of the things that it entails for them to go through having to live that life. First of all, having to come out as being gay, and then secondly, having to embrace the fact that they want to be a woman, but they don't have the equipment. And then also facing society and what society thinks of them, being attractive to the type of people that they're attracted to, and not necessarily having that reciprocated. I don't know what that feels like. But all I do know is that as a woman, I have a totally different set of issues that I'm concerned with. And especially as a Black woman on top of it, I have a totally different separate issues between trans men and white women. So first things first, black women, especially out of anybody, we can't afford to be taking on nobody else's cross and carrying it for them when we haven't even carried the water for ourselves. Good morning, Amanika Mama Max. And I know that you all have seen the countless videos, the clips, Tasha K going in on T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison and got herself all intertwined, all up and through this thing. And let me just point out one thing, because I heard her little clap back at Tasha K. Whenever these men trying to live as women get angry with us, the first thing they do is attack our looks. And they begin to sound just as misogynistic as some of these, as they would say, cis men sound. So I just wanted to point out how quickly the misogynisticness comes through, even though they claim they're real women. They will never be real women. It is in a man's nature to be competitive, not a woman's nature. We as women, I told you guys this before in that compete for what video that I did. I believe AP from the Bronx was the one that kind of spelled it out for you. But it's not in women's nature to be competitive. I'm sorry. No, it's not. We can be catty with each other. It's in our nature to be catty. But the competitiveness, that's in a man's nature. Men are very competitive with other men. And so when you have a man trying to live as a woman, but he still has the XY chromosome, and he's over here trying to parlay with real women, they're going to bring that competitive, misogynistic XY mindset over here, whether they can control it or not. It is still part of their DNA, and therefore it is in their nature. And you're not going to change it. Yes, Chaos Rain. He said, hey, at the Faith Factor, this is crazy. They forget the one live stream you covered on them. They want to go to the bathroom. Thank you, Hash Dragon. Now, once again, like I said, I don't dislike the LGBT community. I have much respect for lesbians, gay men, trans women, trans men, what have you. I'm a live and let live type person. And I also am fair-minded enough to recognize that not all of the trans community feel the same way as T.S. Madison and other men who spew this nonsense that there is no such thing as women, real women, having the last say on femininity. I have heard so many delusional, and these are the delusional trans people and gays that spew this nonsense in order to confuse the masses. This is what it is. And there, I see them operating as a team and as a group to do this massive grooming of other adult people minds. They're grooming you. One by one, little by little. How do you think some of them get so-called straight men to lay down with them. It's a grooming process. And see, a lot of you have to understand and you have to recognize when you're being groomed to be sheep and to follow the crowd. When people are trying to get you to defy common sense, reality, and they want you to play make believe with them and go off into the world of delusion, you are being groomed. There are 3 different types of sex hormones. 3. And I discussed that in the previous video that I did on the very subject of trans men trying to claim that they're getting periods and that they're able to also give birth to children. These men are delusional. Men are capable of making the hormone, the sex hormone testosterone. Women, on the other hand, we're capable of making 2 hormones, progesterone and estrogen. We're the only one capable of making the 2 sex hormones. And these aid us in helping us ovulate so that the egg can get up to the fallopian tube so that it can be fertilized. So I'm sorry. According to biology and science, you're either an egg carrier or an egg fertilizer. You do not go from being an egg fertilizer to being an egg carrier. The only way that can happen is if you were born a clownfish. Now, here's a little fun fact. Clownfish are able to go from creating eggs and being able to give birth to other fish. They can go from doing that to being sperm carriers that are able to fertilize fish carrying eggs. And they can do that in a single lifespan. Clownfish, look it up. But unfortunately, humans are not fish. So I don't know, maybe somebody in the trans community got confused. Maybe they read this about the clownfish and they said, you know what? I think I'm a clownfish. I think I can also go from being a sperm carrier to an egg carrier. And you know what? You are a clown. You may not be a fish, but you are definitely a clown if you believe this. And any of you listening to these people saying this, you're also a clown. So now, if you don't agree and if you don't go along with the delusion, now these lying, manipulative, transgendered men trying to live as women, now they're going to attack and they're going to bully and they're going to call you manly. So they Found the picture just hilarious when she was doing her get ready with me. And she had no makeup on and a little struggle ponytail or whatever. They're saying, "Oh, look at her jawline. She looks manly." You know what? No matter how much of a square jawline she may have had, no matter how short her ponytail is, she's still a woman. At the end of the day, she's still a woman. And I happen to think that Just Hilarious is actually a very attractive woman. I really also hate how they do this to the phenotypically black women, especially as far as trying to defeminize you and say that you're masculine because you have the larger lips or you might have the larger nose. They do that all the time. Like they try to say that Tasha K is a masculine woman. I think Tasha K is a very good looking, attractive woman for her phenotype. You know, it's really, really sad when you have these men, even though they want to be women so bad, and they some of them even look better than some natural women. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I have seen some transvestites that have actually fooled me. But no matter how much surgery they get, no matter how many breast implants they put in their chest, or how they drill a hole down there, they're never going to have the experience of womanhood. True womanhood starts with girlhood. You have to be a girl. You have to go through girlhood first in order to become a woman. And that is an experience that is exclusive only to women. I agree on Monique. That's because they have makeup on. And that's the other thing. A lot of them, like I've seen T.S. Madison before without her makeup. And that chin don't be looking all pointy and dainty when she don't have her makeup on. Oh, and that 5 o'clock shadow was showing one day. I was watching her live stream. So yeah, makeup does wonders. And one thing I will agree with Chrissy, I was listening to some of her live stream. Ladies, you all have got to stop taking beauty pointers from these trans women, these men trying to be you. A lot of you are starting to look more and more less feminine because you all are putting on that, how can I say, you're making your those big overinflated, over ambiguous eyebrows on your faces. I cannot tell you how I'm really hoping and praying that that fad comes to an end because it makes a lot of you look ridiculous. Some of y'all come on here looking like straight cartoon characters. The reason why trans men have to have all this exaggerated featureism with their makeup is because it takes more for them to look like us, what we have naturally. They have to overemphasize. So that's the reason why they do their makeup the way that they do. But I just want you women to know you don't have to do that. You don't have to overemphasize your eyes and your lashes and all that type of stuff. Our features are naturally soft. BMT said it's too late. They are the standard. I don't think it's too late. I think a lot of women are starting to wake up now. It's becoming taboo now for them to walk up to a real woman and say, hey, sis. It's becoming taboo. And I hope more of you reject the term sis. I have been telling you for a long time, don't let them call you sis. Because that's the gateway in the beginning of the bullshit of them trying to erase womanhood. And now some of you are beginning to see. I don't want to fight with the LGBTQ community. Again, I respect you and your differences, but your fight isn't our fight. And we do not have to dim our light in order for you to shine. You shine in your own way because you're unique and different than us. You are unique and different in your form of womanhood, but your brand of womanhood is not the original brand of womanhood. And you cannot come to a real woman and try to define to me what it is. You can define for yourself what womanhood is as a trans woman, and that is what you are. If anybody needs a title in front of the word woman, it's you, because you're not real women. As a real woman, I don't need a title in front of my name. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to say real woman. As a woman, we don't need titles in front of our name. We don't need cis. We don't need real. We're just women, period. You're trans woman. Put the title in front of your name. And yes, as a woman, only we can menstruate, only we can carry life and bring it forth. Yes, Hatch Dragon, we do. We need separation. It's been a long time coming. I've been waiting. I've been hoping and praying that the sisters will wake up, because I've been talking about this long time. And Chaos Reign, it wasn't just the one video, by the way. I caught the shade. You know, Chaos, you've been coming to my channel giving me a lot of shade, and I still let you on my panels and everything else. But you know, I'm gonna start calling your little ass out. But no, I've been talking about this in videos, plural. And it hasn't just been for a few months. It's been years. It's just everybody else just now catching on. And now it's hot because somebody with a name and a platform larger than mine said something about it. And I ain't hating on that. I'm actually glad. Maybe y'all will listen to Just Hilarious and Tasha K now. But I've been saying this. Don't call me sis. And people called me transphobic for it. I don't care, Chaos. Boo. Boo me. I love you, though. I still love you. But I be catching a little shade sometimes. You know, ain't nobody blind. I just want you to know. No, Amani, they don't mean cis. And see, it's CIS. And I have no idea what it means. I'm gonna look the term up one of these days. But yeah, they call us cis with a it starts with a C. CIS. But baby, T.S. Madison came on there and disrespected Tasha K to the fullest, called her all out her name, read her. That was definitely a ether. If y'all did not hear what T.S. Madison said about Tasha K, y'all need to go and look her stuff up. She read the hell out of Tasha K. But where she lost me, especially, because she already lost me with the bullshit and the propaganda. But where she really lost me was when she started bringing up the children, calling them football head and all this other stuff and Africans. And I thought that that was just the most trashy, most tacky, just stupid. It was the dumbest thing I ever saw. And what little respect I had for her, because I didn't have much respect for her to begin with, but what little respect I had for T.S. Madison went completely out of the window. And now she's just trash. I think she's been trash, but now she's trash, period. Whenever people start bringing up babies, people's innocent children that don't have nothing to do with the conversation, them kids don't know nothing about what no transgender is. They probably don't even know what they mama do for a living. And T.S. Madison was up there insulting the babies. She told Tasha K, F you and them kids. So now you mad at Tasha K because she is a biological woman. Because this is where that came from, out of left field. And it did come out of left field, y'all. Her bringing up Tasha K's kids, that came from her being angry with biological women and our ability to give birth. And that's the only reason why that heifer brought up that real biological woman's children. So you got to peep game. BMT says nobody said shit when Saucy Santana was attacking Beyonce kids and Cardi B kids. I told y'all they always hated women. Exactly. Oh yeah, I forgot about Saucy Santana. Oh yeah. They've been doing this. Anytime these these saucy men, these flaming you know whats, whenever they start talking about biological women and they want to start attacking the children of biological women that they are jealous of, they're actually attacking the women and our ability to reproduce. They're attacking real women and our ability to reproduce. And that's a problem. Now, I remember telling people, I said, look, I remember one time I went to the gynecologist's office and I'm sitting out there in the waiting room over an hour waiting on my appointment. And I finally get to the back and, they put me in a room. The door was cracked and I can hear the conversation that one of the nurse practitioners is having with what I thought was a woman in the other room. And she's telling her, no, what are you doing here? We don't look at that here. You need to go and see a plastic surgeon because we don't look at that here. And when I realized what she was talking about, honey child, some tranny done made their way to the gynecologist to have a pap smear. Now, some people will say, well, what that got to do with you? Like I said, I waited an hour. I waited an hour in the waiting room. Do you know that if that tranny wasn't back there, that might have been me getting back there in a faster and more timely fashion to get to my appointment? That's what it got to do with me. It's already crowded enough when you go to the doctor. So when these men trying to live as women invade real women's spaces, they are doing just that. They are taking up space that belong to real women. And yes, you should be offended. I shouldn't have to sit here for months and years banging on this, trying to tell you, hey, you need to be offended. Get offended, because this is going to affect you. And so I had gotten into a little back and forth on this guy's, I believe his name is Andrus or something like that, but he's a gay man. He's not trans, he's gay. And he's good friends with T.S. Madison. But basically, I said the very same thing that I'm saying here in the comment section. And I had gay men and trans men attacking me left and right over there, telling me that, oh, it's okay when women say things, but when a man says something back to a woman, if a man responds, it's a problem. And see, here's the problem I have with a lot of these fools. I don't mind you all having an argument or trying to make your point, but when the point has no basis, when the point is actually made up from a false premises of something that you just made up in your mind that did not really happen. And here's what I mean. I saw Just Hilarious clap back at the one transvestite that claimed he could get a period, and nowhere in her clapback did she say that he could not respond. She was actually responding to something that he said. And Tasha K, same with her. She was doing a reaction to both Just Hilarious and the transvestite. And nowhere in her reaction did she say men could not respond. See, ladies, y'all gonna have to start peeping the lies, the propaganda. So now they're gonna move the goalposts over to an invisible lie that we as women are trying to silence men. That it's okay for us to just willy-nilly attack a man, but when they clap back at us, we want to holler that we're women. And that scenario did not happen. I want you to focus on the fact that that particular scenario didn't occur. So they're creating this false argument in order to shame you into silence. Chaos Rain Show says real women will never get offended. The reason they love the Transformer, especially the one that attacked black straight men. Chaos, you are speaking to the choir. That's exactly what I said in my previous stream. A lot of this has to do with some divestors buddying up, cozying up with the trans people so that they can attack black men whom they also hate. So we have to also recognize and get our communities together and recognize who's playing on whose team. And that is the game that some of them play. Not all divestors, but a great deal of them do. They tend to love their little baddie boys. So I want you all to keep your eyes open for a lot of the propaganda. I'm throwing out some of the arguments that I've heard thus far in order to shut you down, try to bully you into submission and being quiet, try to shame you. And that's what they've been doing this entire time because they think they can. They know that they're men. They know that they are stronger than you. They know that they can overpower you. So that's the reason why they can bogart their way into our locker rooms and our women's public restrooms. That's the reason why they think they can do it, because they know that they're physically stronger than us. Once again, you don't see women trying to live as men, the trans men. You don't see those fighting men and telling men that they're going to unalive them if they don't let them into their real men's spaces. The bullying and the oppression continues, but it's on a different level. It's on a different level now. They're still bullying, they're still oppressing, but now it's on the level of men trying to live as women and wanting to erase womanhood. And like I said, ladies, I can't say this enough, but I'm going to end on this note. I'm going to repeat. The acceptance of trans men into the feminist movement is going to result in real women's issues not being put at the forefront. They are going to do like they always do. And that is they jump on a how can I say, a minority movement. The first minority movement that they jumped on and ran with was the black movement. They jumped on our bandwagon so that they can get their gay rights. Now the trans men in particular are jumping on the feminist movement. And it is only to serve their own purpose. It is they are not going to champion anything that we are going through. Any of the issues that we have that we need to bring to the forefront, they're going to make sure that it's put on the back burner. The same way that they're bullying their way into our locker rooms and our public restrooms is the same way that they're going to bully their way into the feminist movement and turn it into a movement that benefits them. And you can mark today's date, write it down, share the video, and make sure that everybody knows that the faith factor said it first. She's been saying it. But I don't want anybody running out of here with their torches and their pitchforks, crucifying and demonifying all trans men, because I have actually into on this platform. I have run into gay men and trans men alike that say that they actually don't go along with the bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why some of them are quiet. The same way some of you are quiet when you see bullshit going on that you know isn't right. A lot of them are afraid to speak up. And that's not me trying to give them an excuse, by the way, because it's no excuse. But I'm just trying to get you all to understand that there are nuances to this. There are a few loud speakers in the trans community, the same way that there are a few loud speakers in the Black community, that they're loud and they're wrong, but they want to represent the whole group. And I think that's what's going on over here. So now what I want to do is I want to talk real quickly to whoever can hear this, that whoever's in that particular community, the LGBTQ trans community, if you don't agree with what's going on, if you don't agree with all of these delusional men out here making you all look crazy, because that's what they're doing. And I'm talking to my LGBTQ community that's in that particular sect. They're making you look crazy when they go online and they say things like, you all can have babies too. When they go online and they make statements that are false and untrue and cannot be backed by science, that they too can menstruate, and you don't say anything, just know that your silence is betrayal. Your silence is acceptance. And so that means that after a while, if we don't hear from more of you rebuking the nonsense, then I'm going to have to think that you are all a monolith and move as one after a while. And I said this first on the faith factor. Because silence is betrayal. That means that you endorse it if you don't say anything or speak up. That means that you have accepted these people as your representative. Now, if this is not you, and if these people do not represent your viewpoints, then speak now or forever hold your peace. Because I'm telling you, there have, especially Black women, there have been plenty of Black women that have supported the LGBT community from the onset. We supported you and we included you into our movement. So now if that's the hill you want to die on, there will, and I'm predicting it right now, there will be a transgender woman and real woman civil war. And we will see who have the most pull. Because at the end of the day, you're still men. And at the end of the day, what you're doing is based off misogynistic viewpoints and is harmful to women and girls. And you put us in a really, really bad and vulnerable situation. And we're not having it anymore. We're not going to deal with you trying to erase us. We're not going to deal with you trying to define womanhood for us or redefine it. We're not going to deal with you trying to pass off delusion as fact. Real women have had enough. We're tired. We have been supportive. And you all know we have, especially African American women have been supportive of you. But I think you have let some of the loudest and dumbest paint you into a corner that you might not want to be in. And these are facts. Because one thing is for sure, the same way as with when you transgender people get into your mind that there's something that you want to do and a message that you want to get out, Black women are the same way. And if you push us into a corner, we're going to come out swinging. And unlike any other group, Black women do know how to unite and work together. So like I said, it ain't going to be pretty. You've been warned. Now with that, I just wanted to say, oh, let me see what the Clue channel said. What's up, Clue? Oh, Mike Johnson, let me see what he said. He says, pushing this movement in schools and kids has gotten out of control. Not look where we at. Now look where we at. Exactly. And the Clue channel says, I've been saying it for almost a decade that the Skittles cartel is a hate group. You can stand with the gays without supporting that hate group. Thank you, Clue. Exactly. So like I said, you guys have been put on notice. You've been warned. Okay, Black women, we are a force to be reckoned with. They don't call it Black girl magic for nothing. And no, it's not trans girl magic. It's Black girl magic. Get it right. And we will definitely use that magic if we have to. So with that, I just have to say I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for viewing. If you're watching this on a replay, please hit the super thanks and share, because that keeps me on top. And with that, I have got to say peace. I love each and every one of you, and I am out. Holla.